I'll do this. All right. I'll start over. My name is Lieutenant Bill Offelt. I'm the commander in charge of our Specialized Services unit, and Specialized Services covers a lot of different things at our agency, but one of those is our Downtown Resource Officer group, and patrolling the downtown area. Our Beat 14 area is what we call it, and so that's why I'm here today. What I'm going to start with, kind of our agenda, we're going to do an introduction of staff, talk about homelessness a little bit, some downtown parking issues, food carts, downtown substation that's currently being built, currently in progress. We're going to do a little bit of an education piece on trespassing with Officers Jordheim and Nord, and plans for 2022. And then I want to have a little open discussion. One of the reasons being, I'm going to do introductions. A lot of us are new, and that open discussion, I want to hear what we can do for you, what went well last year, and just see where we can go for 2022. So again, my name is Lieutenant Bill Offelt. I've been working with the Fargo Police Department for 20 years. A good majority of my time at the Fargo Police Department as an officer, I worked in the downtown area on night shift. I did about 7 years on patrol as the night shift officer, and so I'm very familiar with the downtown. I was more familiar with it from about 2002 to about 2012, 13 as I bounced in and out of roles, but always came back to the downtown area, and I loved working downtown. I loved the feel, the excitement of it, and I love making partnerships with all the individuals and businesses that work down there. So glad to be back and doing this. Many of my roles with Specialized Services would include, I'm the commander of the SWAT team, crowd management team. We cover K-9, our community service officers, downtown resource officers, and a lot of the stuff I've done over my career. I've been a training officer with the department. I've been with the team, SWAT team, for about 19 years. I've been in our Office of Professional Standards, and now our Professional Accountability Unit is what we call it, and involved in training in many aspects for many years. So what I want to do, we have 2 new downtown resource officers, and then we have 2 downtown resource officers that are still with us, but I want to make sure that we introduce everybody, and then I have one who's not here, so I'll introduce him at the end. He couldn't make it for the presentation, but Officer Kayla Chezik, I don't know if you want to stand up, Kayla, and say hi. She just started with our Downtown Resource Officer group here in January, and a great addition to our group, strengths in communication, and also our peer support team. And you've been here, Kayla, it's been 4 years with the Fargo Police Department. So also worked our downtown area as a patrol officer for a couple of years on evening shifts. So great addition to our group, and going to bring a good vibe, I guess, from the Fargo Police Department to our downtown area as she patrols throughout the year. You all know Officer Dean Jordheim. He's been with our department for about 15, 16 years, right? Correct? 14 years. I was off. I gave you an extra year. He's been with our department for 14 years, worked the downtown area the majority of his career on evening shift, very familiar with the downtown, has been a downtown resource officer for many years. And Officer Tyler Nord coming back. He's been with our agency since 2009, correct? 2010, man, I'm off by a year on everything. Today, I hope I'm not off on this whole presentation. I don't think I will be, but Officer Nord's been with our SWAT team for many years, just currently retired from that, and been with the Downtown Resource Officer Group for a couple of years. Knows our downtown well, is doing a good job of communicating and collaborating with all of you down there, especially at MAP Bus and the library. So not present today is Officer Lane Anderson. He's been employed with our agency since 2019. And he's assisting with the coaching and training division. He's one of our newer officers and just got a position with coaching and training. So he's at a training event that he couldn't get out of today to come to our meeting. But I wanted to introduce him, as you'll be seeing him moving through the downtown area and making connections with everyone throughout the year. So just our Downtown Resource Officer group, the team that'll be working throughout this coming year, 2022. So what I wanted to do, I'll make one more announcement after introductions, and that is Sergeant Brent Halverson is going to be retiring from our agency in March, which we just found out about. So what I'm doing is going off of what he had planned kind of gave the presentation for the download in December of 2021. Going over that, looking at some of the things that we ended 2021 with, giving an update on what we did with some of those things and where we want to go in 2022. His sergeant's position will be left open for a short period of time, and I'll be filling his role as the frontline supervisor of the group, but we'll also be delegating amongst our downtown resource officers some of those things. So going on to some new ventures in his life, and we're happy for him. But an announcement that we all should know about is he really did a good job in the last year making connections and working with a lot of our partners in the downtown area. So one of the things that he and I worked on, I moved into the group in November of 2021, and one of the first things we worked on is there was a lot of concern about homelessness in camps along the Red River. And one of the first things we did is started collaborating with our Harm Reduction and our MOP group, along with parks and river keepers, to try to come to a good conclusion and get some people that were living down by the river, especially in cold conditions at that point, some help. And it was, I believe, December 4th, we went down there. Jillian played a major role in finding housing for a lot of the individuals that were actually camping in not only tents, but it was kind of bushcraft conditions down there, homemade shelters. We're able to find housing for many of those individuals and provide resources, so that's been a good thing. We're going to be having a meeting coming up here March, probably early April, with those same entities, MOP, Harm Reduction, parks, and then river keepers, to come up with a plan on how we can kind of get in front of that for 2022. And really it's going to be, from the police department side, what we're looking for is a kind of a three-step process: housing, outreach to those groups, and then enforcement. Working with Jillian and her crew on outreach and housing, and trying to first find individuals that are not only in crisis but in need of some help, places where they can stay and help them get their lives back on track. And also upping our enforcement down by the river, and seeing where people are camping and trying to provide that outreach sooner rather than later, so that they don't have to be exposed to conditions in the outdoors. So that was what we started in December. We saw that it was an emergency. In December 4th of 2021, it was extremely cold, and there were people still living outside, and we were able to provide resources, working collaboratively with our partners in the downtown area to help those in need. So really, really good all-around effort, and we'll be continuing that, planning through 2022, and continuing that effort through 2022. One thing that we've been working on, Chief Zabulski started this campaign with some of our downtown bar owners, and that is one of the things he noticed was there were large crowds gathering, and we noticed it because of calls for service. But a lot of our downtown residents were also talking about this and complaining about it, but large groups of people outside of bars, specifically kind of NP Avenue, Broadway, the downtown area, outside of many of our large bars. Downtown Fargo provides a lot of really great venues for people to go out and have fun. And when the bars close, there's a lot of people that are out there, and when you get a lot of people in one place who've possibly been drinking, sometimes we have calls for service, whether it's fights or theft or damaging property. And we're looking at kind of an outside-the-box way to deal with this. We pulled in a lot of our bar owners with the help of DCP and had a really productive meeting looking for suggestions on what could be done without inhibiting their business, but also improving the safety of the downtown area. And we looked at possibly putting cab stands, for lack of a better word, directing people to specific areas where they could go and pick up cabs, lifts, Ubers, get picked up by a friend, whatever it might be, directing them away from the bar areas and dispersing the crowds a little bit. So a tentative plan after listening to our partners in the downtown is looking for 4 areas, north, south, east, west, around our downtown. I've been working with Uber and Lyft for them to provide hotspots where people are getting picked up most commonly, and it's not in areas that I wasn't surprised where people are getting picked up. It was 300 block of Broadway, NP Avenue and Broadway, 6th Avenue and Broadway, and 2nd Avenue and Broadway. And so looking at, I have a couple ideas of where we're going to put these areas that are actually can be geo-fenced by Uber, and this is the only place you can pick up an Uber on these dates and times. Not sure exactly how that's going to work yet with city ordinance, and not sure what our partners are going to think about it, but just wanted to introduce it a little bit today here, and we'll have a meeting in the future with some of our business owners downtown. But excited about this, and that we'll be able to move some of these large crowds away from residential areas where people might be trying to sleep, and disperse large crowds so that it'll hopefully cut down on calls for service outside of some of our establishments that are open a little later, and make downtown a little bit more safe. So stay tuned for that. We'll be working on that throughout the spring of 2022, and hopefully have something in place late spring, early summer on that. Food carts, that was another thing that Sergeant Halverson talked about, and something that we're continuing to work on. There's been a committee put together with the City of Fargo, different entities in City Hall to basically look at the ordinance that regulates food cart usage, making sure that it's something that can realistically be met, that it's an older ordinance, and we have kind of a larger group of food carts than we did when this was written back in the early 2000s, the start of probably 2000, 2001. And so just reviewing that, seeing what is good for our city, seeing what's good for those food cart owners as they have a good business and money invested in that business. We want to make sure they can still do that, and looking at safety downtown. And again, how can we possibly move some crowds or disperse crowds by creating areas where food carts might be able to go is one thing that we've been looking at. And also, some of these food carts have gotten rather large, and they're inhibiting traffic or views of traffic at different intersections. So looking at how large these food carts can be, and making sure that they comply with the ordinance. So I'll continue to update on that as we move along, but something really interesting. It's a cool part of downtown. I remember when they started coming out, late at night, and it's really some good food that they're serving, and something that we want to make sure continues. So another thing that we're working on is downtown substation. When we left 222 4th Street North in between 2017 and 2019, our footprint or our presence downtown, we didn't have as many squad cars because people weren't moving in and out of our station. That wasn't our main station anymore, and we wanted to make sure, the city wants to make sure that we have a presence downtown by way of the station. We also have a lot of resources that still work down here, our downtown resource officers, along with many of our beat cops that are working in not only the downtown area, but in the beats and areas around our downtown. Want to make sure they have a place to go. They're able to take a break, use the restroom, eat lunch, meet with individuals if need be. We also want to have a place where, we're having more and more events downtown. We want to participate in those events. If there are parades, farmers markets, all kinds of different things, we want to have a base of operations that we can work out of. And so we're working on, actually not working on, it's been approved to have a police satellite station in the Mercantile building right at 4th Avenue and Broadway. This station will not be staffed 24/7. It's not going to be, it won't have a receptionist, it won't have a records division, anything like that. It will be a workspace and a space for officers to work out of, do their reports, take a break, things like that. So more to come on that. What we're looking at doing is having like an emergency phone outside of there. So if someone does need to speak to law enforcement, they go there thinking law enforcement's going to be there and nobody answers the door, they can pick up the phone and get to our dispatch center right away and have officers dispatched. But just really excited about the possibilities. And so we're in the planning stage of, with architects, outfitting the interior of that space, and completion is anticipated early summer, June or July of 2022. So it'll be on the main floor, right off, it'll be on the north side of 4th Avenue, just to the east of Broadway is where we're going to be. And it'll be marked up as Fargo Police Department station, so you won't miss it. It'll be right there. One thing that we've been seeing, and I added this wasn't on the agenda, but one thing that we've been seeing recently, as especially bar owners are getting new scanners and more sophisticated technology to look at IDs, is they're finding a lot more false IDs than what they were before at bars, at entrance. And when they get those, they take them, they confiscate them. And within the past couple of weeks, we've been receiving, I think one, Kayla, what was it? Was 160? It was 280 at one shot. And that wasn't in one night, obviously. What had been happening is the establishment had been holding on to these false IDs for a long period of time. And you can imagine when we have to log, officers have to log these into evidence, how long 280 IDs might take. And so I wanted to make sure I passed along. If you own an establishment where you're checking IDs and you find false IDs, we'd like a phone call right away. Just give us a holler. Maybe you have 3, 4, 5. That's okay. But we don't want to get into that number of 20 or higher IDs, because it takes a considerable amount of time, and it takes an officer off the street for an entire day to do something like that. So if we can make sure that, I know this is being broadcast and others are probably watching it, if you do own a liquor establishment and you're checking IDs, it is not a bother for you to call us. We might not get there right away, as it wouldn't be a priority call, but we'll get there within the day, and or within an hour or so, and be able to collect 2, 3, 4 IDs. Then it takes us about 15, 20 minutes, and the officer can get back on the street taking calls for service. So if you do get one of those, 911 is not, you wouldn't have to call that. It's not an emergency. Just call our non-emergency number, 235-4493, and an officer will respond when they're available. So just wanted to pass that along. One of the major things that we deal with in our downtown area is our trespassing issues. Oftentimes there are people that are at businesses, they're asked to leave and they don't want to leave. Our 2 DROs, Jordheim and Nord, over the years that they've worked on here, have become somewhat subject matter experts on this. I put a picture of them walking, just I thought it was appropriate since they're going to be coming up and talking. But I want to turn it over to them just for a brief moment and talk about, hey, what can we do when we're called for trespass, and what can you all do to kind of help us a little along the way. So.
Good morning. Again, I'm Officer Nord. Looks my leg is broken there, but anyway. So obviously, trespassing has been kind of an ongoing issue for downtown businesses. The biggest thing is if you guys are all private businesses, you are entitled to prevent people from using your establishment if you wish. With that being said, we ask that you try and ask people to leave if they're causing issues or you just don't want to provide a service to them. If they don't leave, please call the non-emergency issue unless they're being physically aggressive or something along those lines. And again, so 911 if it's a big issue, the non-emergency 235-4493 if it's not an issue, and one of us will try and get over and help you guys out right away. As far as trespassing itself goes, if you want them trespassed, we can certainly assist you in informing the individual of that. And as of right now, people do get trespassed for a 2-year period in our system. And if they come back, what ends up happening is we just have to have you call us and then to let us know that that person is in there. And then when we see them, we'll either issue them a citation and obviously escort them out, or we'll take them to jail, just depending on the circumstance. So is there any questions regarding that from anybody? No? I think that's all I have.
And trespassing is a Class B misdemeanor, correct? crime. So it is a crime that if we see them on your property and they are trespassed, technically, that happened in our presence, so we could actually take them to jail for you. But for that to happen, we usually have a trespass form that we give you as the business owner or the manager of that business, resident, and we have you guys fill that out, and we can help you, at least guide you with it's a question and answer. And that we keep on file, and then it allows us to also, when we're patrolling the downtown area, if we see people, especially late at night or early morning, we help you so those people don't continue to go back there, so they are held for their that violation. And it also helps you, so at least you have that peace of mind that you don't have to call us if we see them as well. We can take care of that issue for you. And the form only takes about 5-10 minutes to fill out. And it's on record as long as you want it to be. Victor.
Right here.
Jeff. Thank you. I'm Victor with the downtown Fargo bid. Just kind of some of the things that we run into with our safety and hospitality ambassadors is we'll take phone calls from business owners. So maybe if you could explain, or maybe like for those that are either listening and the business owners in the room, is there a recommendation you guys have that helps us for business owners to, when do you call you guys and when should they call us? Because we'll always come out to the store, but essentially we end up calling you guys right away. And sometimes I think there's a little confusion. And for me, if it's a safety issue or if they're breaking the law, they should just call the police right away. But maybe you can touch on that a little bit.
So kind of as Victor is saying here, I think the big thing to look at is if someone's causing an issue within your business, it's easier for you to call us than to call the bid. We're equipped to deal with those types of issues better than they are. And essentially they're just going to end up passing all of that information along to us by calling dispatch. So you can skip a step in that process, so to speak, by just calling the emergency number directly to get an officer there right away. If it's somebody that's just sitting on the sidewalk per se and they're bothering people and the bid advisors happen to be walking by, that's something different, of course, where you can say, hey, this is going on. Can you guys let the police know about it if you're not as comfortable wanting to, if you're just talking to them or if you don't want to take the minute to call dispatch. So go ahead, Victor.
Well, and I'd just add, I mean, we are the extra set of eyes, the extra set of ears. So I'm not trying to say don't call us because we're
Nope.
here to help, but sometimes there is a little bit of confusion. So
Yep. No, like I say,
and it's more of a safety thing. I mean, if you feel like your safety is at risk, call the cops first, then call us, because we'll send some people over to maybe help monitor the situation until you get there. But sometimes I think there's just a step in the order that the businesses could have a little better clarity.
Yep. Anything else? All right.
All right, I wanted to make sure that I wanted to go through that process a little bit because it's something that really can help us if people refuse to leave private property. It gives us the ability to do something with that. And our bid, I can remember when we didn't have the bid working downtown, and you guys have really made our downtown a great place with all the different things that you do. So great being in partnership with you, and really happy that you're downtown doing everything you do, keeping it clean, making good contacts with people, passing information on to us if need be. It's very important to have those eyes and ears out there and do what you do. So thank you on that. Any other questions about trespassing before we move on? All right, so 2022 plans, and before that, Jillian, did you, I missed you on the downtown or the camping stuff. Anything that you want to talk about, anything to pass on? Okay, I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing an opportunity there. So what are we going to do in 2022? We're going to do more of the same. continued DRO patrols in the downtown area. We've, ever since I've worked here, starting in 2001, we've had a downtown resource officer, usually two. It's worked very well, and you can really get much farther with collaboration and making those connections with people in the downtown area than not. And so we want to keep those open lines of communication with our downtown resource officers while still enforcing our city ordinances that need to be in the downtown area, and offering assistance and providing those resources, and that's what our downtown resource officers do. We're continued collaboration with downtown businesses and residents. What I'm going to do here once I'm done talking about what are we doing in 2022 is I want to hear from you. We have a little bit of a crowd here, not much, but I also want to hear, I know that we're on air and I know that there are people probably watching. I want to hear from, if there's any concerns or any ideas, I want to make sure that we hear them and that we can respond to them in some way, shape, or form. So, but that continued collaboration is very important to us. You know, homelessness is a downtown thing that we deal with, and we want to continue outreach and partnership with Harm Reduction and MOP. That's been a really good partnership, really good resource in our city. Help in many, many ways that are often go unnoticed and that are not talked about. And I want to make sure that we continue with that collaboration because it's really been making a difference in our downtown area. We also have a community engagement team that's part of Specialized Services Unit, and they're in charge of going out and engaging the community, helping and building trust in the community. And when DROs were brought into Specialized Services, they're really community engagement officers, just in a little bit of a different way in the downtown area. And in the summer, when we have some of our community engagement team open up for different things, I'm going to bring them in the downtown area to also work with our downtown resource officers and kind of build a little bit of a larger team in those summer months, which is really when it's needed downtown. That's when everybody comes down. That's when everybody's out. That's when all the things are happening downtown, or a lot more things, I should say, than during the summer months. And so there's going to be increased staffing for events and specialized staffing for some of these events. You'll see a little bit more of us in the summer months than in the past, because I'll be able to bolster our numbers with some of our SROs that aren't in schools and some of our community engagement officers. And so looking forward to starting that plan and trying that to see how it works for the summer months especially. And then the very last thing is our intelligence analysts. Our department has just hired multiple analysts to not only look at calls for service and what we're doing on them, but individuals that might be driving crime in our city and responding to them not only by crime numbers, but on an individualized basis. If there's someone creating a large amount of crime in the city, well, then we should probably stop that person. And that's what these intel analysts are going to help us do. I'm going to be working with that group. We're just in the beginning phases, but we're working with that group to put together numbers for this meeting. So every time we have one of these meetings, I'll be able to say, this is what happened in the last 3 months. This is what happened in the last month, whatever it might be. So that everybody's aware of what's going on downtown, the lack of call for service or increase in calls for service. And we'll also be using them for ourselves to monitor and increase or decrease patrol where needed. So an important and exciting new step in where we're going to go here, where we'll be able to put together numbers to actually see what's going on. One thing with that is, we'll be responding to major incidents that might happen, obviously, and give an update on those, like we did on the last one, like Sergeant Halverson did. We had a couple incidents downtown that he gave a little bit more of an in-depth analysis on. We'll continue to do that, but we'll also just give real-time numbers of what happened over a certain period of time. So a good thing to bring to the table with these downtown presentations. And now I don't have a lot of people here, but any questions from anyone? Looking for what did you think went well last year? Where would you like to see us go this year? Those types of questions. Or if you just have any general questions on something that you'd like to know about, we're willing to answer. Yes. And these are really interesting microphones, by the way. Very nice.
Aren't they? Question, we've been fielding some questions from our members and food cart vendors in the downtown area, is the formation of that committee and the analysis of City Ordinance 18 the reason that food cart permits have not yet been issued for 2022? Because we're starting to get questions on what the delay is that's impacting businesses. So looking for an update about when, not necessarily when the process will be complete, but is there an interim that we can talk about or discuss so that our members and those downtown food carts can get back in operation?
Right, so the committee had its first meeting about a month ago, and where we left that was a review of ordinance and what can actually continue to happen with food carts and what might need to stop. There was no indication that food carts would not be allowed, but there was indication that they needed to look over ordinance prior to the next meeting. So do I have a time frame when those will be issued? I don't, but there was no indication that food carts would not be allowed, especially in the spring and summer months. So we're going to be having a meeting here. I have to go back and look at my calendar to see when that is, but there's going to be a determination by that meeting, if I remember correctly.
Okay, because from our, from what we're hearing, all food truck permits are reissued on an annual calendar basis. So because they haven't been issued, there's none for 2022 right now.
Right now, if they haven't been issued, there would not be a permit for 2022. But every indication that I heard in that meeting was there will be. They just have to review a couple of things before they issue them.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah. Anyone else? And I'll ask some questions today and get to you on that. Yeah. Anybody else? If not, I'm always available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 usually if I'm not in a meeting. My email address, I probably should put that on this presentation, but I can be found on our Fargo Police Department website. I'm Lieutenant William Alfelt, AHLFELDT. Throw me an email, call our police department, ask for me. You'll be able to get a hold of me if there's any questions or concerns. If I always say this, we talk about non-emergency number, emergency number. If you don't know if it's an emergency or not an emergency, just call 911. We'd rather be alerted and get there and help and provide resources when needed and safety than have someone not call at all. So if you're ever saying, should I call the police on this or shouldn't I, give us a call and we'll see what we can do to help you out. So anything from anybody else before we adjourn this meeting? All right, I appreciate you all being here today. Thank you very much.